All right, we're on Grit Matters, and Brian Macris here with Home Choice Lending, and I got Dan Childs from the Childs Realty Group. It's Dan and Drew Childs out of Manchester. And we spoke about the market and how it's changed and getting houses and really realistic numbers for a seller, because they all have these numbers in their head. Their house is worth $1 million, and you're like, it's more like 750.
Right.
So let's switch gears from the sell side on being on the listing, and let's talk about buyers right now. And let's talk about, how those offers are different. You'd mentioned in the last segment that home inspections are back,
Right.
and we're glad they're back. But you also spoke about how to structure the offer in a fashion that is allowable. And you said, what you mentioned off camera is like, hey, listen, we don't want to piss off the seller during negotiations, because sometimes they just get this bitter taste and they don't want to talk to you anymore.
Right.
They're done. They're checked out. They're like,
Right.
buy it or don't.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about how you're structuring offers and how you're, looking at those inspections and timing wise, how you found success with offers.
Yeah, of course. It's actually a great time to be a buyer in this market. Contrary to popular belief, I know
Sure.
people are nervous and scared because they feel rates are really high. I know that payments are high for people on average right now, but buyers are kind of taking back power. And as I said before, sellers may be working with 0 to 2 offers. So we can assume one of those is at list price. One's maybe a little higher, but there's probably some uncomfortable conditions that the seller's not loving. So when we go to houses with buyers, even if it's weekend, one just came on, we're taking a different approach than before, which was you need to lay it all out there. You need to put your highest and best foot forward. You need to waive everything. That was kind of so 4 years ago, so to speak.
Yeah.
Now we're able to say, look, like, you can have your home inspection, and there's a couple different things we can do around terms for that inspection to get you your inspection and not frighten the seller. You can write a really strong offer. We use escalation clauses a lot. It helps our buyers get the houses they want without giving it all up. You don't want to lose a house over $2,000
Right.
or $1,000. So that's where an escalation clause works really well. But they're not going to go beyond their uncomfortable ceiling.
So they cap it.
They cap it at a position that I say like makes you want to throw up, right?
Yeah.
But you'd be happy, you'd be okay if you got the house.
Yeah.
A little nauseous, but you'd be moving in.
Right.
So that's kind of how we talk to our buyers about offer strategy. A big one for sellers right now is, they want top dollar, but they just also don't want to be nitpicked. So when we do home inspections, we use, like, I call it a no nitpick clause, which basically says, like, we're only going to ask you for repairs or replacement on major items costing over $5,000, over $10,000. So everybody gets what they want.
They just go.
Thank God.
Yeah.
They know the buyer's
They're
not
like
going
the
to
furnace
say.
is 6 years old, the roof is 10 years old.
Right.
So the big ticket items are off, and they're not going to find anything else. So the seller already feels comfortable that hey, there's a small cracked window or a loose brick, and we want to fix that on the sidewalk, and they're not coming to them saying fix this, fix this, fix this, fix this.
Right, because you know that the home inspection report is going to be several pages long, and that's the inspector's job, right? But it's okay. It's not going to be like when Drew and I bought our house in 2017. It was a different time. We had our home inspection, and we said to the sellers, do it all.
Do it all.
They were tightening light switches up. I mean, we just said, otherwise we're not going to take your house.
Replacing carpet,
Yes.
putting a new fridge in.
Those days are long gone.
Yeah, and walking your dog for the first month.
Right, literally. Cover the pool. Like,
You're over there with a leaf cleaner.
yeah. So those days are over. But buyers are having inspections as long as they're reasonable.
It's more balanced.
Yeah, it's balanced.
It's more balanced of a market,
Yes.
and there's room for negotiations on things.
Right.
But don't always show that first hand up front.
Right. It's
I think that's
don't
great
push
advice.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because then they don't even want to talk to you.
Right.
And I've been there where buyers and sellers are in two different rooms. And,
They're not speaking.
And they
Yeah.
want to throw down. And then there's others where, we're popping a bottle of champagne and they're like, here's how you change the code to the garage to open it up.
Right. And everyone's happy.
Yeah, and it's such a different experience, and that's what we want for experiences. And yeah, you both parties, it's big deal for the ones that are moving, that have probably been there their entire life. It's a big deal for the people buying it.
Right.
They're coming up with 600 or 800K,
And trust me, the realtors, do not like it
Yeah.
when
When people aren't getting
we're the
along.
only two people in the deal, really,
Yeah.
because the sellers and the buyers.
Yeah.
One party may be a little annoyed at times in the transaction, but when both parties are at odds completely,
It's tough.
it doesn't feel good for anyone. It's tough, and then when you're asking, "Oh my God, by the way, can you do that?" It's like
Yeah, they're like
kind of
F
like
you.
hard no.
They're like
Yeah.
F you.
We're gonna ask, but hard no.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to end up in that situation. The realtors are doing everything we can to make sure that that doesn't happen. A lot of what I've learned, especially in the past year, where, like we said 100 times, negotiation is an art form and it's happening at multiple checkpoints in the sale. The words we use as realtors are everything to each other and to our clients.
Yeah.
You can, with your words and the way you deliver a message, make or break the sentiment that the buyer has of the seller or the seller has of the buyer.
Completely agree.
And there's a tactful way to get something done where this is a business transaction, but our customers are in a highly emotional state. It's all their money, it's the place they live, it's all their possessions. Their home base is up in upheaval. And so they're highly emotional. It's our job to be more logical and keep them grounded and rooted in what their goals were. And
You're like the filter.
yes.
If this is the customer, you're like the filter that takes all that emotion out and says, we're going to do it like this.
Right.
And then you present that to the agent. The agent's another layer of filtering.
Right.
Hopefully, if they're good, they're filtering and delivering that message that you're bringing. And
yes, appropriately. And
I was part of a walkthrough, and I'm just going to share this with you. So back in the day, there was a walkthrough that was taking place. It was a $1 million+ house in Manchester, and the walkthrough, the seller was frantic, and the buyer's like, "Can you guys go do the walkthrough?" I asked the agent. The agent's like, "Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I'll go check out this $1 million house. Beautiful staircase, spiral going all the way up." Anyways, walking through, and the agent's like, it's okay to the seller. Listen, the buyer, he says this directly to the customer, to the seller. He's like, the buyer's got a lot more to sign than you do. He's like, I counted, like the moving company was still there. They're still carrying stuff out. They're still packing. And he's like, why don't you come down in about an hour to an hour and a half, take a shower, relax. These items will all get out of here. You got a professional moving company. And he just brought that escalation of this all the way down. And the seller just kind of like crumbled and was just so much softer.
right.
And then he reported back to the buyer on the filter. He's like, yeah, I counted 6 or 7 big items. There's an armoire in there and all these things. And he's like, they'll have it out in the next hour or so. Everything else in the house looked great.
Right.
And the buyer didn't have all this, anxiety because he calmed the buy side down. The seller, there is a way, that's an art to be able to deliver that through that filter of what your customer's feeling and what they want to say.
Right.
And then hopefully on that other side, they're even, softening it up. So
Yeah, you're coaching the consumer on the other side of the table, so to speak, through their realtor. So a strong agent is able to reach that other side through their realtor by almost coaching that realtor like what to say. You're not going to say, well, Brian, here's what to say.
Yeah.
But you're going to speak to the realtor in a way that's
Yeah.
like, we're partners.
Yeah.
Here's what I've said that's worked.
Yep.
We're all human beings. Sometimes I'm nervous to talk,
Yeah.
to say something uncomfortable to my client. Sometimes you might be.
yeah, definitely.
So we're a team here as realtors, and it's like, hey, this is what I read this book, and it said all clients have 7 stages of emotion in every transaction. It was Sell It Like Sirhan for anyone who's wondering. Understanding those stages your clients go through it's everything. So I said to another realtor, look, I read this book. We're at the end. Like the client is basically in their meltdown phase.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. We're gonna get them out
And
of there.
normal. And normal.
Your job is to recognize, they're in the meltdown phase. The next phase is excited,
Yep.
and then appreciation. So like we're gonna get them all the way. Usually 3 to 4 weeks after closing is when we get those rave reviews from our clients. Usually the 2 weeks before the closing is when the client's melting down.
Hectic, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we need to know that as professionals.
that there's this phase.
Recognize it.
Yeah.
It calms me down.
Yeah.
Then we can work together to move the deal forward.
Yeah, I love it. If you're out there and you're thinking about listing your house, call him. He's just got this aura. His team is great. So I really appreciate you coming in today. I think that's great calming. Just just the way you speak and communicate. It's just calm. And you guys are so good at that. And I know your team meetings are over there. You've got great agents over there. So I really appreciate you coming in today and chatting with us. And we'll do this
Thanks.
again.
Thanks, Brian.
So thanks so much, man.
Appreciate
Cheers,
it.
guys.